Next item of business is public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak regarding public comments? Sir.
My name is Dennis Hennon. I live at 2411 Earlmont. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Citizens United. We did not plan to speak tonight. However, once we saw this memo from Ms. Vansen, full of misrepresentations and falsehoods, it became apparent that we must respond and set the record straight. I don't think Ms. Vansen ever expected this memo to see the light of day. I think she hoped she would quietly give her spin on the facts, hope that you would believe her story, and then move on with business as usual. But business as usual is why we are here tonight, and business as usual is not acceptable, and that's what we want to change. The allegations we bring before you are serious. We do not make them lightly. We have gone to great effort to support our assertions with research and facts. We've prepared a report providing in detail the problems from Ms. Vansen's memo and demonstrating the facts that underlie our conclusions. We ask that it be entered into the public record and that you examine it carefully. I'm not going to go through every detail now, but I want to draw your attention to a few items. On the Elwood property, we claim that there was a DTE easement. Ms. Vansen claims it's a vacated alley. In fact, it's both. We called DTE in July to verify before we said anything. What steps did Ms. Vansen do to verify her claim? For the Cumberland property, Ms. Vansen states the best way to measure for a side yard setback is to measure from house to house. That doesn't even make sense. The existing house could have been built anywhere in relationship to the property boundary. There's much better evidence there that establishes the likely position of the property line. The county plat maps, the site plan the city had on file, the fence, the existing driveway, and a permanent metal survey marker. Using the standard of measuring house to house only makes sense if you've made a mistake and you're trying to cover your tracks. Further, we pointed out that this house has an 18-inch projection when only a 10-inch or smaller projection is allowed. She didn't address that in her memo. Why not? But more to the point, how is that even missed during inspections? An 8-inch difference is not easy to overlook. This, coupled with a setback violation, puts the projection 17 inches closer to the property line than code allows. Finally, let's consider the Thomas property. While the 2-inch setback violation is important, the main purpose of us including this property was to show the impact that allowing builds in such close proximity can have on residents. The building department is allowing unsafe excavation practices to go unchecked, resulting in damage to property and putting lives in danger. A collapse happened here at Thomas. It happened at the homes at Oxford and Berkley, a place where this board granted a variance to allow the homes to be put closer together. It happened at Harvard Commons. A collapse took out part of the community garden. In fact, Myosha shut them down briefly because of their unsafe digging practices. The city had the power to do this, but it took the state to come in and protect us and the workers. And since we first brought these issues to you, the city has had it happen again. This time, a driveway near Kipling and Columbia was undermined in early October, and again, because proper shoring was not in place. However, for tonight, the collapses aren't even the important part. What I want to concentrate on is how far Ms. Vansen's descriptions of the collapse at Thomas departs from reality. I have with me tonight the neighbor whose driveway was undermined, and she's here to recount the events as they really unfolded.
Good evening. My name is Amy McIntyre, and I live at 3109 Thomas, next to 3095 Thomas, the Mark Adler build. We have been residents of Berkley for 17 years. To date, we have not spoken publicly for the record regarding the Mark Adler homes built next to us and how we have been treated by our city. Upon receiving a copy of Ms. Vansen's memo dated September 13th, one day after the last ZBA meeting, we have decided to go on the record. In her memo to Mr. Baumgarten, Ms. Vansen states that shoring would not have helped as the cave-in happened the same day. I've never met Ms. Vansen, nor have I ever met Mr. Baumgarten, so I can verify that they have never asked me or my husband when the cave-in happened or what our experience has been. In fact, the city has never acknowledged any of our emails. We can prove through text and time-stamped images that the foundation was dug June 1st and June 2nd. The cave-in happened during the overnight hours of June 4th and into the early morning of June 5th. To quote Ms. Vansen, the driveway did not collapse, it undermined. It happened immediately during excavation, so shoring would not have helped. What the city is trying to prove by not telling the truth as it happened, I don't know. But what I do know is our city and the building department and the code enforcers left us on our own to fight the builder. Quote, the owner called the city and Dwayne was out at the site within half an hour. Dwayne verified the situation through pictures that are on file for the city for the neighbor to use in a future court case. Ultimately, the fence and the driveway are a civil issue, end quote. Mr. Franks did not arrive within half an hour. We didn't call the city. We emailed the city Sunday night, and I was at City Hall at 8:30 the next day. Mr. Franks arrived at my house around lunchtime. Mr. Franks only said, quote, I have seen worse, end quote, and our picture would be attached to a file in case we had to take legal action. And then we fought for our property to be repaired for 4 months. Through many tears, angry words, and strong emails, our property was repaired by Mark Adler Homes in good fashion. We are pleased with this. Please know, though, we are now continuing to watch you, code enforcement, and the city's actions. It is our goal that no other Berkley residents have to go through what we did, including having their situation lied about in public records. Thank you.
Thank you.
While this collapse was completely unnecessary, preventable, and the city could have done much more to help Amy after the fact, that's not the point I want to make. What I want to emphasize is how different Ms. Vansen's memo is from what really happened. You are absolutely reliant on the information provided by her and her staff and your service to the city. Whether these errors are through malice or through incompetence, it does not matter. This demonstrates what we've been trying to say. The building department is not trustworthy. You might ask, why should I care? Why should any of this matter to the ZBA? As we saw tonight with the Oakshire property, the decisions that come before this body have a great impact on the health and welfare of the city. The choices you make, such as allowing buildings to be too close to each other, can result in tragic consequences. You must rely heavily on the reports and actions of the building department. Our findings demonstrate they are unreliable. Thus, you must take great care and critically examine the information put before you so you can uphold your oath to serve the city. In our report, we've provided specific recommendations that are within your authority to help remedy this situation. In the broader context, why do these issues matter to the city as a whole? We continue to witness a building department that appears to lack concern for the welfare and safety of residents and workers. How much property has to be damaged before we take action? How many people have to be injured before we take action? Does somebody have to die before we take action? The business as usual in this city is that anything goes, fostering an environment of casual violation of citizens' rights by builders and a disregard for safety. It is this business as usual that we want to change. This board doesn't have the power to fix all the problems, but you are not powerless. Act where you can to make Berkley the best place it can be.
Thank you. Sir, before you leave, do you have a copy of those comments that you could provide for clarity? We can get those to City Hall.
Yes.
And, excuse me, he has the floor, if you would, please.
I was going to pass it out for him, it's his report, but okay.
Yeah, I also have the comments that I just read, yes.
That's what I was trying to
Would you
That
go-
can be provided.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
you could, she has one copy?
I'm trying
Well,
to
that
pass
is,
it out
that
to
is
you.
that is a separate report. I will,
Yes. I think what this will help allow, if I may, is to put these in writing. We've got them in writing, and I think that's going to help staff and know that Mr. Baumgarten is the chief administrative official for the city.
yes.
That way he can take a look at them, and it'll give staff an opportunity to look at them more closely. They'll have a written record, and also potentially be able to provide a response to everyone who has concerns. including you, anyone else who's concerned, this board, anyone else. So I appreciate you providing that, so it helps us track everything, and hopefully help staff out to get some solutions here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like the report now?
Mr. Smith?
Mr. Hennon, if you were to find that you were wrong, would you be willing to stand up here and be just as energetic with your criticisms?
Please, he has the floor. Would you please? You'll have an
This
opportunity.
has to do with what you guys are all talking about, but all right.
Please. Mr. Hennon?
Yes, House of Renew. We stated that we did not think that there was that they were charged, and that was wrong. They were charged, the receipt was produced, and yes, if we make any errors, we will stand up and proudly wear them. Nobody is without error, nobody goes without mistake, but the problem is that it is the pattern that it continually happens, that people are continually being disregarded. An occasional mistake, I understand, but when it is just a pattern, that is when it becomes a problem.
You spoke of a property at Harvard Commons, the priest's house, the driveway is cut.
Yes.
Did that property owner complain? The answer is no.
The answer is no. The priest, the man of God, does not want to cause problems.
And you're speaking on his behalf. With his permission.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
It's
So-
wrong, right?
Let him respond.
No,
Does
my whole point here is you will come up, you'll criticize staff, criticize the building department, without really, maybe not having all of your facts lined up. I don't know. But I would just like to know and be comfortable that if you do find yourself in error, that you will stand up here and you will apologize. And you will try to make things right.
Absolutely. If we are in error, I take great pride in spending what it takes to make sure that what I say is accurate. I did not come up here, like I said, I do not carry this lightly. The things that I say carry great import and could have a great impact on Ms. Vansen. So this is not something I enjoy. I have been dreading coming up here all day. This is all week since we've learned about this. But these things are important, and I want to make sure they get out. I want to make sure that the citizens of our city are protected from a building department that is not protecting them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who else would like to speak on this matter? Please.
I just want to pass out papers.
Okay.
You know, I think I will speak. You guys know who I am. And I'm very shocked, you know, just like in a courtroom, you know, when you present a case, the other side has a chance to rebuttal. That was our case to rebuttal. So if you want to ask Dennis if he's going to stand up here, or Berkley Citizens United is going to stand up here and admit if they're wrong, you have to understand, this was our rebuttal, okay? And yes, we would, but we went to great lengths to look at this information. But for some reason, we're not trusted. We're not believed. The residents are just, boo-hoo, whatever, nobody cares. That is the problem. We're trying to get you to listen. I don't relish making problems. I just want the city to operate properly, the building department to operate properly, the rules and regulations to be followed. That's all I ask. I think that's all the residents ask for. We have had residents come to us, as we tried to present last time, complain that their properties are being damaged, okay, because they've went to the city and they've said, help us, this builder did this. And you know where they're coming now? Berkley Citizens United. And they're telling us their stories. Now, some of them are valid and some of them are not. We go out to many of them and find the metal stakes. That's what my husband does in his spare time, to prove where the property lines are. So, because I'm not a surveyor, so that's the best we can do right now without spending a whole lot of money, right? So you're challenging Dennis, and I really that really bothers me. We have a chance to rebuttal. When we saw that Amy's statements came out and they were not factual and they were not correct, we had every right to stand up here and do that. And that was what we did, to make sure it went on record. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to make any comments tonight? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment to the meeting. Do any of the board members have any response to the public comments tonight?
Yeah. Dennis, you never answered his question
Which question?
regarding representing a homeowner on the driveway situation. You smiled at him, but you never answered the question. Did he ask you to represent him?
He has not asked me personally. He has talked to people in our organization. He is unhappy about the situation. He's probably unhappy that this is now out. But he's not happy about what happened and how he's being treated. But with his position in the city, he is not trying to make it stink about it.
Still didn't answer, but that's okay.
I know everybody here is passionate about how they feel. I appreciate the fact that some of the things we received tonight were in writing, simply because the last time you spoke, to be honest, I was a little overwhelmed. Wasn't able to sort it all out there, so by having this, it's going to help us. As someone who works for a city, who's a staff member in the planning department, I think it's important that at the end of the day, we understand it's a function and not necessarily the person. If indeed changes, adjustments in how things are done at City Hall need to be done, the chief administrator is the city manager, and if it involves whatever it might involve, and I don't know what that is, and I'm not even, so I just want to stress that I think we all ought to try to not have this be on a personal level. Comments are made. The city's only got so many people working for them, and we've all got to work with that. The final thing I'd like to say is if there's anything you need to say, you don't necessarily need to wait to this board meeting. We meet once a month at the most, and I'm going to just encourage you to continue to work with City Hall, work with the city manager. What I'm trying to say is you don't have to wait until every month if there's things you want accomplished that they can possibly accomplish at City Hall. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to adjourn our meeting.